Leaked footage of 6ix9ine getting caught escaping.
One thing I fear in life. No, two things. I'm not gonna. I fear God and I fear the FBI.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. 6ix9ine is getting more and more out of hand as time goes on, and you won't believe what he did now. So be sure to like the video and subscribe to King Trending. Number 4. How he ended up in jail.
All information of the activities of himself and others to the U.S. Attorney's Office.
If you wish to know when this all started, of course, you need to head back to November of 2018. During that month, 6ix9ine was about to drop his first studio album, and everything seemed to be looking up for him. That is until November 18th, when he was arrested by federal authorities in New York City on various crimes. These crimes include racketeering, conspiracy, possession of illegal firearms, and substances, among others. The history of 6ix9ine in terms of the law is pretty well documented, and the irony though, despite everything that he's being charged with and the various charges like assault, endangering civilians, and even an incident with a cop, he's always walked away from it. But this time would be very different, as it was the FBI who did the arresting this time, and they did their homework on him before doing the arrest to make sure that their charges stuck. According to reports, they have been suspicious of him for a very long time due to his alleged ties to certain groups in New York, a tie that he would sing about in his tracks no less. And to add to his history of crimes, they felt that it had a good enough of a lead to start with, so they worked hard to get a case against him. And then they slowly got the evidence they needed to take him down. Because of the charges and the severity of them, there was no chance for a lucky break in terms of getting out of them, because these weren't just regular charges, these were federal ones.
The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Homeland Security Investigations, and other law enforcement agencies.
And once it could land him in trouble for a very long time if convicted, which is why they wanted them in the first place. He wasn't alone when he was arrested, for the record. The FBI also named a former group of friends and his ex-manager as accomplices for many of these crimes. The irony here is that 6ix9ine actually fired his crew, including the manager, a mere week before all the arrest happened.
Austin, Texas, I fired everybody in my team. I got no manager, I got no booking agent, no PR, no public. I don't got nobody on my team.
There were some who believed that this was a tactic to throw off certain people off his scent, but according to 6ix9ine, it was a trust issue that led to their dismissal. No matter what the real reason may be, they all ended up in handcuffs with the FBI. And if the charges were able to be rendered as stated, they would be in jail for a very long time, as the two of the charges against 6ix9ine and his crew had life sentence penalties, two of which of the counts were life for prison. But even if he somehow skated away from those, which he had a knack for doing in the past, he would still be facing up to 47 years in prison due to the heavy charges. And that's a lot for one person, no matter who you are. And that weighed heavily on him. At first, 6ix9ine could do nothing. He tried to play it out in prison and in court, and then eventually making Instagram posts showing that he was just fine and going with the flow. But when it was clear that he wasn't getting what he wanted, for the most part, he knew he had to do something drastic, which led him to a plea deal. This particular plea deal would potentially save him from spending much time in jail, mainly because he would be ratting out just about everyone he knew in connection to his illegal activities and the known group as the Trey Nines. In exchange, he was guaranteed to dodge the life sentences that come with some of the charges. No matter the situation, he is still spending time in prison, though the sentencing was unknown. 6ix9ine couldn't risk it. He knew he had to take the deal. And for the most part, the deal had been a big success for 6ix9ine. First off, since he accepted the plea deal and revealed the extent of his crimes to the court and the FBI, 5 of the 10 members of his crew that were arrested with him were either given plea deals or, of their own, talked into accepting guilty verdicts for only certain charges, some of which have been confirmed not to be life sentence ones. Arrests have also been made in other areas that try and take down the Trey Nines, all of which have been based on 6ix9ine's information. So as you can see, it was a good deal for him. There was just one catch, however. He's still in jail now. And that time in prison isn't going to be easy for him for a very simple reason. He's branded now as a snitch. Number 3. Snitches and stitches. There's no doubt that 6ix9ine is in his current situation because of his own stupidity. He's long been an idiot of the eyes of the world, but he's been an idiot who's gotten away with a lot of things, which makes a lot of people very angry. But now, even more, people are angry with him because of his snitching. 6ix9ine long proclaimed that he was part of a group called the Trey Nines, and that was part of the reason why he was arrested. The FBI found out that he was helping build up an empire for the group, which is most definitely frowned upon, especially in New York City. Anyway, he sang a lot about his connection to the group, and when you sing that much and that loudly about the connection, you need to be loyal to that group or else. After all, there are 3 basic rules when it comes to a group like that. Number 1, know your role and do your job. Number 2, look after the group because it's like family. Number 3, don't betray the group. These may seem like obvious rules, but it's one thing to obey the rules when nothing is happening to you, and it's another thing to obey the rules when the world is crashing down on you. A snitch isn't just a word, it's a brand. And if you're a snitch, it means that no one can trust you because you've betrayed someone close to you to get out of certain situations. And while it may be okay to snitch on someone else like a friend or family member in the right circumstances, when it comes to groups like the Trey Nines, it's really not a good idea to be one. Hence the phrase that is taken on worldwide, snitches get stitches, because the snitch is an unforgivable sin in that world. And And 6ix9ine broke that rule in the biggest way possible. Not only did he break that rule, but he also broke it twofold. First, he broke the rule when it came to helping testify against the rest of the group that got arrested with him. Yes, the very same people who 6ix9ine once called his own little crew and friends. Plus, when he confessed to the various counts put against him, he mentioned that he did some of these things on orders of members of the Train 9. And by the wording of his plea deal, he had to help put these guys away now for their crimes. This means not only did he give the snitch to his former friends, but to the crew he swore he was a part of and confessed in court that he was indeed one of them. Now sure, it was for a lesser sentence, and the wheels are in motion to actually get him out of the prison because of this, as he's already helped out put half of his crew away. But in terms of where he is right now, yeah, he's in trouble. Prison is not a good place to be, especially if you have certain brands on you, because most prisoners honestly do have a code of some sort, and one thing they don't like is snitches. So while he's inside the prison, and he'll be there until his sentencing, he's gotta be very careful to who he talks to, what he says to someone, and where he is in regards to his protectors, mainly the guards. To his credit, 6ix9ine and his lawyers have already done a good job of keeping him safe. They secured him a spot in the non-violent offenders ward of the prison for while he sleeps, which is actually a good thing, because that means that this prison is full of people who aren't loyal to the Train 9s or his former crew, more than likely, which means he can actually try and sleep peacefully. But that doesn't even mean he'll be safe at the time. And with that brand on him, it'll definitely affect him, even if he doesn't know just yet. Number 2. Looking good.
The fact that this lawyer represented multiple defendants means that this lawyer cannot represent 6ix9ine, that 6ix9ine has to get a whole new lawyer.
So that begs the question, how is 6ix9ine holding up in prison right now? He's been in jail this whole time since his arrest in November, and now it's well into the first third of 2019, and so that's a lot of time behind bars. As many will attest to, prison changes a man, which was proven during a recent day in court. How do we know this? Well, you see 6ix9ine is being represented by Lance Lazaro, who in an earlier session of the court actually had been removed as his attorney. According to the judge presiding over the case, Lazaro had represented 2 of the other people arrested with 6ix9ine, and more on that in a little bit, but in the case previous, of course. And that would constitute a conflict of interest of sorts. But Lazaro fought the ruling, and 6ix9ine himself had to take the stand recently in order to clear up the air about some things. A clip of the proceeding revealed some interesting things, including the state of 6ix9ine himself in terms of physical nature. Today's court hearing was about whether or not Lance Lazaro could continue to be 6ix9ine's lawyer. A person says in the clip, they had Tekashi come in and take the stand in this courthouse right here. And Tekashi looked good. He looked like he's been working out, the hair dye was worn out so his color's black, and the braids aren't quite as tight as though they once was. But he looks good. He was responsive. This particular piece of testimony is very revealing in regards to the current situation of 6ix9ine, both in the physical and mental sense, as we see how prison time has worn him down in some ways, and yet he's still able to do what is needed to be done in court. Let's start with the situation with his hair. No, I'm not going to do the beauty school thing on this. Rather, his hair matters because 6ix9ine is known for the color dreadlocks, and he probably displays them in every music video that he makes, and every custom art piece that he does. So having them in a faded state is actually rather significant, mainly because it proves how long he's been in there, that he can't get access to the coloring agents he needs to re-dye his hair with. Likely because they're contraband, but also they don't want prisoners like him to have too many liberties. He also doesn't clearly have the time, energy, or help to make his dreadlocks look the way he was when he was outside of prison. Or in other words, he's feeling the strain of not being a free man in his own way. And the first thing to go in prison is your sense of identity, because in many prisons, you're just a number. The working out bit is a bit interesting though. After all, prison gym is one of the few luxuries that many inmates have. It gives them something to focus on while they're outside of the yard, and for 6ix9ine, he may have shouted to the heavens that he was a gangster, and he technically was, and more on that soon, but he was never really a guy to truly get violent with people outside of very specific circumstances. So him working out could be a sign that he wants to be tougher in case things go bad inside the prison while he's still awaiting his sentencing, which is a good idea given that he took a plea deal. It also could be interpreted that he wants to bulk up because he senses the danger around him, and there is indeed danger around him. That's again why he wants to be put into a non-violent offenders ward, because he wants to be truly, fully protected whenever he can possibly manage. To be fair, the FBI and the prison are likely keeping a close eye on him because of the nature of this plea deal. He's a key to many other cases, and so if he gets taken out by another group, Train 9 or not, a lot of their case and evidence will get thrown out the window. But despite all his faults, 6ix9ine is no fool. He knows that they can't watch him forever. So until he's free, whenever that may be, he'll be keeping an eye out for anything and everything that could go wrong. Number 1. TikTok.
Free 6ix9ine. Period.
For 6ix9ine, the worst thing about his prison sentence isn't the danger per se, it's the time. The time that he's inside, away from the outside world and those he cares about, like his girlfriend who has remained loyal to him throughout his ordeal. But it's also because he knows that the more time he spends in prison, the more time his enemies and rivals will have a chance to come at him, which obviously isn't something he wants, so he has to be aware at all times. And he has to hope that his lawyers plan to get him out by September, or else however long he's in there for is going to feel like an eternity. And the longer it goes, the more and more danger he'll be in. So that's what prison life life is going to be like for 6ix9ine? What do you think he'll get out? What do you think he's feeling and fearing right now? Will he make it out of prison? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on King Trending. A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.